So there's two things to go away from here. When you've got that nagging feeling, you must go back in, even though you have friends who say don't. And the other thing is when you are composing your painting or bringing the thing together, you've got to strike that balance between pulling out the parts of your painting that are going to be a little bit stronger, but still letting the harmonies and the subtleties and all the richness that you've got as a backdrop to those star players, still letting them have a place in the painting. So this is the painting that I have recently finished, and that had a bit of a strange journey. So when I finished it the first time, and I was quite happy with it at the time, I thought that I had done quite a good job. I really liked the colours that I'd used. They were more subtle than I had done before, and I really liked the yellow in it. And I was mixing yellow with sort of taupey colours, sort of neutrals, and I really liked that. And it was this sort of area here that had me most excited. But as time went by, I just became increasingly doubtful about it, and it was nagging at me, and I was thinking, oh no, I've varnished it, it's ready to go, and I'm just not liking it anymore. I took it out of the frame, took it off the stretcher, and I took the varnish off it. But I knew that it was going to be a problem that needed to be solved, and I had other paintings that I was more interested in. So it's kind of sat waiting for me for quite a long time. So back into it I went, and what I did was I turned it upside down first of all, so that I was looking at it fresh. What I didn't like about it was that the contrasts were almost like too strong. I had this really big dark shape, this sort of subtle area that I really liked. And these were made of little chips of colour and little shapes, and then I had this big strong area that sort of was like a big L shape on the painting. And I just felt like they were opposite, but they didn't have enough in common. I think in paintings we want to have opposites because that gives us something exciting and surprising, and they look so good next to each other. But they need to have some commonality. Otherwise, they're too disparate, and they don't sit harmoniously together. Even though they're different, they don't sit harmoniously together unless they have something that hangs them together, unless they've got something that's in common. I think the problem was that they were too strong, and that was drowning out, those big shapes were drowning out the subtlety that I had in here. So I turned the painting on its head, and so now the big shape was on the bottom. And I got rid of the darkness of it because it was too strong. And I used a taupe, sort of a neutral, desaturated, light muddy colour, taupey sort of colour, and got rid of that. And I think it was dark through here as well, so I got rid of that other bit of dark as well. So then, once I had done that, this area here, and it has got this, it has got bits in it that are just as dark as that original big piece that was dark. So I still have that strength and value contrast coming through in the painting. But somehow, because they're smaller, they still have a little bit of punch, but they don't drown out the whole painting. And then I was able to bring in the other colours and keep that subtlety going in the rest of the painting, and not have it being so dominated by those big, loud, dark areas. And then I just walked through what else I had going in it, and continued to build the painting. Now I like it a whole lot better. The other thing that I did was, it already had little bits of blue in it, and I took that little bit of blue and dotted it around, and then I thought I'm going to make something stronger out of the blue. And this is a point in making a painting that people get to, and sometimes I think they just don't take things far enough, and I sort of liken it to a choir. When you have a choir, you have different parts. You have sopranos, altos, tenors, bass. All these different parts come together and make a beautiful harmony. But they all have their own parts to play. Like within a song, there'll be one that carries the melody through, and there'll be others that back it up, a variation of that melody or something that makes that melody stand out really beautifully and just provides a really lovely backdrop to that beautiful sound. This blue I gave a little bit more strength to. And the yellow is already another part of this choir, or this painting, that has a bit of strength as well. And then the other colours and the shapes and everything else that goes into it are the backdrop. They are the things that support it and make that yellow and that blue look so good together or as part of the painting. That's kind of how I see it. So having chosen which parts are going to be your soloists or your sort of star players, then you've got to have a fine balancing act between having them being strong, but you don't want them to drown out all the beautiful harmonies and things that are going on in the background. So it's a fine balance to strike. And I didn't have it in the first version of this painting. I had one drowning out the other, but I feel like I do have it in this painting. I have some strength to it, but I also have the harmony and the subtlety as well of all those parts working together. And this painting was one of the paintings that I submitted to the New Art Gallery. I was invited to submit some work for them because I had won the Art to Life juried show, and this was one of the ones that Juan actually chose. So I feel that I've made the right decisions in going back into this painting and making those changes. So that's very validating, and it's I'm pleased I went back in.